Hey guys, Vaseth here, just letting you know this is on tournaments, and of course we don't have all this footage of stream setups and off-stream setups and all the things that they want to talk about. So enjoy some matches of Mew2king Salem playing their new characters against each other while we bring in relevant graphics as they come.
Hi guys, Mew2king.
And it's Salem.
And me and Salem have been to many tournaments for quite a long time now. Probably like, for me, it's been like 14 years now. Probably it's been probably a decade. And I feel like this is some things that could just clearly, in my opinion, be improved at tournaments, and we're going to discuss some of these potential improvements now. Okay, so for stream setups, the one thing personally that I think could be better, obviously this might be asking a lot, but I like having noise-canceling headphones because that helps me concentrate better, because then the background, it's like white noise, like you either don't hear anything or you can't make out what people are saying, so your brain doesn't focus on that. But you know, obviously having headphones is nice. You know, can't be too greedy. And then if you know, you could always you could bring your own headphones. I just think it could be a nice potential improvement. Obviously having space around the stream setup, but I think most turns do that nowadays anyway.
I think one thing they should add onto the stream setups is like hand warmers. A lot of the time when you go up on stream, it's just
cold.
like it's extremely cold for no reason, for literally no reason. Like nowadays, I'm just like, why is this so cold? It's like, am I getting too old for this? Like that's what it feels like. Because like before, I was not bothered by that at all, but nowadays I'm just like,
dude. In the old days in Melee, when I was like a young Melee Fox, at turns that were like air conditioned or not heated at all, my hands were so frigid that my fingers wouldn't bend, and I was a Fox main in Melee.
That's right.
That already had difficulty short hopping. It was hell. Imagine how horrible that was. That's one of the reasons I switched. One of the reasons I switched mains is because it was too hard to play Fox, let alone Fox and multiple Smash games. But especially because it was cold a lot, and I wanted my worst to be decent. So I used Sheik and Marth because my playing bad, my cold hands would still be not as horrible.
So hand warmers would be a lot of help. The stream setups, they're pretty fine, like with spectators. I'd say maybe there needs to be a tiny bit more order, like first and second front row should be like trustworthy people, because like there's recently, or well, there was a while ago, like a small issue where it was extremely loud people or quote-unquote coaching having an area that's like cut off from like people you don't know too well or don't know too much about. It's probably better to just have like top players and like TOs or whatever else there in a reasonable area, so you can also just find someone to get to and know where they're at, and so they also don't bother any of the players on stream. It'll help a lot.
Back in the older days of like Melee and Brawl, people would mid-set coach against me all the time. Like while I'm playing my match, they would tell my opponent, "Don't do this, watch out for this," all the time, while trying to yell and mess me up and yell when they got hit.
Ew.
Every single possible tactic to try to mess you up, I had to deal with. Like, this is much more common in the past, like the older Melee and just the Brawl era. I think the best thing would be to always allow the player to use their own noise-canceling headphones. That should never be refused. In my experience, that is sometimes accepted and sometimes refused. It has never always been accepted or always been refused. It'd be ideal if that percentage could increase a lot, that just accepting it. And or bringing your own, but obviously, you know, there's a lot of headset sponsors, so you can't always ask for them to have their own noise-canceling headphones, so that's not always the case.
Off stream is pretty ratchet, so it's totally different from the professionalism over there. Like over there, it's going to be crowded. There's going to be lots of people yelling right directly next to the players. And if you're a spectator, like once the crowd gets going over there, you're probably not even gonna be able to see anything. Like all kinds of nonsense.
So one of the major points that I think would be good is I think there should be more setups, and I think this is an improvement across the board. Obviously, it costs more money to have more setups, and you need the space for it. However, it would make pools run faster. It would make the tournament run faster, and a lot of people want to play friendlies, and they would be able to play friendlies. They would have a better experience, and some people who are bored. A small percentage of those people decide to be the obnoxious ones who just yell to mess people up in matches, and that would be minimized as well. It's pretty much just improvements across the board with pretty much no consequences. I'm not really sure exactly the best way to tackle it, but I definitely think, as I said before, not every TV seems to be allowing a hookup for the noise-canceling headphones. I try to bring my own, and while it does work the majority of the time, there have been TVs that don't allow it. in addition to that, there have also been setups I've played in Ultimate which just didn't have sound. There have been Ultimate setups that simply didn't have sound at all at some turns I've been to. I don't want to name names, but it has happened, and I think that's like, that should never be the case. You should always be able to hear the game. There shouldn't be like a minimum requirement of space that people like have to stand behind. Otherwise, you just have to hope that people aren't bags. And while most of the time people are not bags, there are situations I've experienced where people are bags. It's not the norm, but it does happen.
I think there should be like that area should be more organized. Like for 1v1s, it should be 1 and 2 unless there's like a double screen setup. There should be like a space where it's just like 1 and 2, maybe 2 chairs in the back, or for like, you know, let's say your buddy. If you don't have that, you know what happens? It's just everyone's standing up, no one can see anything, it's crowded, there's no space to, like, even after the set, let's say someone pops off, there's no space to like just move out the way, because some people go wild with their pop-offs, and some people just want to leave.
Pop-off shouldn't be a factor.
Nothing bad has happened yet off of a pop-off, but it can happen. I feel that it will eventually.
Pretty much my entire life before Brawl, people just crowd around me, and they don't care how close they are. As long as they're not waving their hands in the screen, they don't do that. But it's basically, they get near me, yelling close to my ear. There's one good picture that comes to mind that can be an example. If you've seen the picture of like Mew2king versus Ocean, and you saw how the whole crowd was there, crowding around me, and that's basically like my life. And do you know how hard it is to edge guard space animals with Marth or anyone when you're trying to do that? Because you need to hear the little tiny sound that goes ching. And when people are yelling, you cannot hear that, so you cannot even edge guard. Not to mention, like, certain people like myself, you just get distracted more than other people. I mean, it will distract anyone, but some people like myself get distracted even more, and people are like talking and just trying to annoy you and distract your brain and stuff. It's just, it just really sucks. And I've had to deal with that for a long time. Luckily nowadays, tourneys have more options. People are like more respectful, and there's noise canceling headphones. There's more options nowadays. But in the old days, when there was not these options, it was not pretty at all. And pretty much every return was like that. Just yell in your ear, because there was no rules on how close you could stand. There was no rules on what you could say.
Like very, very, very recent. Like I think it was at Smash conference there was one.
Yeah, and that's basically the average or the 50 percentile. Like every other tournament was like that for like most of my life.
That's yikes.
Yeah.
That's yikes.
At least when I'm doing like top 8 of a major, like, or in an important match, but just yell and just try to mess Mew2king up, basically.
Yeah, people are pretty ratchet out there, so we need to start organizing things better. Can we talk about pro controllers? Most important thing, and it happens every single tournament.
It happened a bunch this weekend too. It happens all the time.
Every tournament ever.
Forever.
Ever
since the Wii.
Ever
since the Wii. Ever since Brawl.
Please, pro controllers, disconnect. Just leave. Those people, for some reason, they just leave. And
they don't care.
It. And
they only care.
You know how much work it is?
Dude.
You know how much work it is?
Don't you have to like reset it or just
sometimes that
just
doesn't
get
work.
lucky?
Sometimes that doesn't even work.
I don't understand how it works.
Like,
it feels random.
Like I believe
fixing it feels random.
At the last glitch, that has happened at least twice-ish.
Dude, it happened multiple times this weekend for me.
Oh.
Multiple, and I wasn't even at the ultimate area. I wasn't even at ultimate that much.
It's just like, where did they go? And they left their pro controller on. They leave their pro controller on sometimes, by the way.
And you can't even start match because it's like a player 3, and it's not even doing anything.
Reset the switch. It doesn't do anything because it reconnects to it somehow. And the solution was to find that person and have them turn it off. It was the only way. So
that's horrible. That's even worse than I've experienced. I literally just give up and go to another setup.
Disconnect, or they got to go.
Yeah,
you're going to have to adapt and play a game controller, bro. These are the options. You disconnect normally, like a human being. You connect it to your Android phone, whatever. If not that, like connect it to an unused switch somewhere else. Like just not on a setup, but just an unused switch. Do that. I believe Japanese TLs have desyncing stations. So what are you doing? Please, please stop this.
Alright guys, thanks for watching that video. Let us know in the comments below if you agree with our points, because we've been to a lot of tournaments and we have a lot of experience on these different ideas. And so I think our ideas could be pretty good, and I think a lot of tournaments, a lot of different people should try to implement our ideas moving forward, because that could be better for the greater good of the future. Okay, guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and see you guys around.